Hello everyone, welcome back. In this episode I'm going to actually review both the do a comparison review on the RadMini and the RadRover here. And so let me look at the I'm going to look at the RadMini first, and then I'll look at the RadRover next, and we'll just compare them. And just to give you a good idea of how similar they are and how different they are as well. So there's some view of the RadRover and the RadMini. So I'm going to point out a few things here between the two, but let's go over the RadMini first. If you've seen my previous episodes, I pretty much did the derailleur, I've done the brakes, I've adjusted the calipers. This one in particular had an issue with maybe an issue with the controller, because the front light doesn't quite work here, which Rad Power Bikes has done a wonderful customer service, because they got me a new light, a new what is this harness, a wire harness, and also gave me a new controller. So I haven't installed a new controller because this works, it's just that the light doesn't work, which I've compensated by getting a light actually. And so anyways, what I like about the RadMini, okay, I'm going to go over the likes, is that it's small, it's foldable, it does everything, almost everything, just about everything that the RadRover does, but in a smaller, obviously in a smaller package. And that's what I love about it. I enjoy that immensely about the RadMini. I could put it in my trunk. It does come with the rack, and because I put this basket, milk carton, whatever, on the rear rack here, that I can't put it in vertically. When I fold the bike vertically, I can't put it in my vehicle, so I actually fold it and put it down horizontally on the derailleur side, as well as the pedals. The pedals are also folded, so they're on when the pedals are folded. The pedals are folded. I lay them flat as well on the derailleur side over here. So the pressure is basically on the derailleur and this pedal on the other side, as well as I got some shoes that I got shoes that actually lay beneath the tire, so they take some weight off the derailleur. But the derailleur guard is so strong, I'm surprised. Anyways, that's how I have to lay it flat, because if you see my previous videos, I have to kind of do something weird to have it fit in my car. But that's what I like about it. It's the mobility and ease of use of using this that makes it so awesome. And time-wise, as far as time, okay, not miles, but as far as time, I spend more time riding this because of my particular situation, where I wake up in the morning, I'm taking the kids to school, my youngest to pre-K, and so I'm taking that opportunity to fold the bike up and take it to the fitness center And then from the fitness center, I ride around and all that for about. I ride home. Sometimes I ride at the sports complex or the other fitness center or the Levy systems or just anywhere I want. Mainly kill time and exercise. And sometimes I come home and I edit videos and all that. So as far as for me, that's why I ordered the RadMini, the foldable bike, because I knew I was going to use that. And you don't need a bike rack, you don't need a truck. It fits in probably typically most cars. It'll definitely fit in any US SUV or truck, but you know, mid-size sedans, mid-size hybrids. I don't know about compact cars, but I've seen other videos where compact cars, people have put the RadMini into a compact car. So I've seen that. So that's what I love about this, is that you could just take it with you anywhere. The tires, they're awesome. They're a little too rough or stiff, I think, because they're so small, even at 20 psi. So I've lowered them down to around 16 to 15, both front and back, and they seem to offer a smoother ride. Also, I've lowered this as well to the lowest setting, so it gives the most springiness or suspension. Absorbs a lot of shock. So I leave it on because I go off, you know, the pavement as well as on pavement. On pavement it's nice because it just gives you a smooth ride. So that's what I like. The forks, the suspension fork is awesome. The power on this, it seems to be not as it's powerful, but it's also not compared to the, you know, the RadRover here. It you know, the RadRover, as far as longer distance and miles, it seems to have more power. It just seems to have more power. Although the RadMini doesn't mean the Mini doesn't have power. It actually has a fair amount of good torque. What I notice about the RadMini is, especially when I use the throttle right here, when I throttle, it seems to pull harder. It seems to have a lot more torque, and because of that, when I did the hill test on the RadMini, it actually made it up the hill just on throttle alone. Just throttling, it made it up the hill. Now, I had a fresher pack of battery. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe the wheels. I don't know. But anyways, the RadMini made it up the hill. The lower angle side of the hill. So it has more torque. It feels like it has more torque. So you can really go slow on off terrain and really make it over, you know, most obstacles. So that's what I like about this bike. So that's the RadMini is a great choice. It's a wonderful, great choice, especially if you're looking for a folding bike that you could put in your car or truck or SUV, even storing it away. The only one issue I had recently was this right here. I think, if I remember, this should be in more, but I fold it so much that the set screw in here must have gotten loose, and this started coming out. So this literally just started coming out. So I try to put as much as I put it in as much as I can. So maybe it should be the other way. Anyway, folding it up and down, up and down, up and down, it just twisted it out. Oh, I already got some stuff on my hands already. So that's the thing about that. That's the only thing I got to watch out for. But everything else, awesome. I love the bike, really enjoy it. Okay, so let's talk about some of the cons about the bike. Some of the cons is speed, maybe. Although I have recorded, and I will continue to record the speed on my app. I have a speedometer app that has GPS satellites that track the speed. So far, I haven't hit 30 miles an hour, but every time I think I hit 30, the app just stops working, or my phone restarts. It kind of sucks. I'm working on something where I can mount the phone so I can actually see it. But anyways, I recorded so far, as of this video to date, is 29 miles an hour recorded on the app, on the speedometer app. So I know this bike can go 29 miles an hour with pedal assist, me pedaling. Throttle alone most likely just goes to 20. So I know the bike can go fast, but I feel like the RadRover goes a lot faster, in my opinion. It just feels like it goes a lot faster. I could just feel it as I'm riding and I'm going along, and it just goes by faster. It's a lot smoother as well, and I think a lot of it has to do with the controller size. This controller is, that big, and if you compare it to this controller right here, it's bigger. So I think there's a lot smoother power. That might also explain the jerkiness with the RadMini, but other than that, it works out great. Now, the only downside I have is that when you fold it, especially the way I fold it, or even if you fold it vertically, when you fold it, you can see right here that I've got some residue marks or scratch marks here, and that is from folding it. And when I fold it, it rubs up against right here, and that's why I put these 4 Velcro. 3 wasn't enough, it was moving around, but if you put 4 Velcros, I got this from Harbor Freight, 3/4 by 35 feet Velcro or hook and loop. I put 1, 2, 3, I rolled it around twice so it gives a little thickness. You can see some of the scratches right here. If you do fold it, it tends to rub right here. So I don't know, maybe they could add neoprene right here like they did on the chain guard or the slap guard as a neoprene. Maybe they could add that on next time or something. But that was the only thing. And then it rubs a lot when you bend it and everything. When you fold the bike, these tend to rub in here, and sometimes like on the other side, this one right here in particular, this one in particular right here, you can see it scratching up the cable. Sorry about that. I'm going to try to see if I can bring this out on this side here so you can see it. So you can see that it's scratching up the cable right here. So I put a little Velcro to kind of smooth it out, but every time you fold it and unfold it and fold it and unfold it, it scratches the cable, and then it may even pull the cable here and there. So that's the only thing about it. You can see scratch marks right here. So you can see scratch marks right here, and so I used the hook and loop and just did all this because you get a lot of wear from folding it, unfolding it, and you riding the bike. And the way this is set up, you turn it. Let me see if I can get this in a way that, so you can see that when you turn it, it touches all sorts of spots and rubs up against it. So that's the only thing about it, but a little Velcro A little Velcro hook and loop should take care of that. Another thing is, because the way I fold it, I have this extra piece of hook and loop here. See, I got this extra piece, and what I do is when I fold it, I Velcro one of these when it's folded. I Velcro one of these when it's folded, and to the tire right here, and that way it doesn't wiggle around, because I also noticed that it was this part right here. This part was rubbing up against right here. You can see the scratch marks, and so that's what these are for. But that's just for my situation, because I'm putting it down horizontally versus vertically. This part right here that holds up, I'm gonna have to either sew it together or something, but it's starting to come apart. So that's the other thing. Excuse me. And so that's what I noticed. Other than that, I mean, the bike does come rough. Like, it comes out of basically China, and it is rough. You eventually do have to tune it. So that's what I did. I adjusted the derailleur. The chain, I just want to give you a little tip on the chain. What I've noticed is that the chain, I've used different oils, and the best thing that I've used so far, believe it or not, is this. Using this on the chain. There you go. Using this on the chain is like heavy duty silicone. It has acetone, and it is a lubricant, and it stops rust, and it's somewhat waterproof. It really does a good job on metal. You got to be careful. Do not use this on your disc brake though. So I used to get a lot of grime. Let me see if I can just get it out here. I have to go into the other side here. I used to get a lot of grime on the chain. A lot of grime every time I use like some bike lubricant or bike oil from Walmart, or any lubricant. I even use gun lubricant. They just build up a lot of grime and dirt. Now when I use the silicone, you can see the little wheels. The wheels in here, they spin. And so now what I do is I just spray down here. Spray, take a cloth, wipe it, and keep on going, spraying and wiping, spraying and wiping. And man, you could see it clean. The grime just falls off of it. Just falls off of it because it has some acetone in it, but it dries real quick. And acetone degreases all that stuff. And then you got the silicone or probably propylene that's left behind that dries up on it and stays there. And I haven't had any shifting issues or gear issues. It looks clean all the time, even though when I go off-roading. So I recommend that. Of course, try not to use it on the plastic parts. I don't recommend it. It actually says that on the silicone instructions. I use it on the cassette. I use it on the derailleur area. Any metal to metal, any part, I use it here. There's some rusting. This is starting to rust a little bit, so I use it here. Wherever potential rust spots, I use it. So, but the RadMini, yeah, overall it's a great bike. So those are some of the downsides. Other than that, I mean, I don't have any other issues. The battery, however, this is kind of what I don't like, and this is for both of them. The batteries don't come out as easy. They're really, I actually banged up my hand taking it out. That's the only thing. I wish they just had some kind of a lever here that you could push on that would push it, help it just push it out of there. That would be my recommendation. If there was some lever that you could just push and have some leverage to push the battery out, then you could just slide it out. That'd be awesome. Other than that, I haven't had any issues. I think I've done 300 miles, but if you've seen some of my previous videos, you'll know that I've done a quote-unquote controller hack where I set the wheel setting to 14 inches. With this one, if you take it to whatever the mileage is, times 1.74714, so take whatever the miles per hour is on the display, times that by 1.714, it'll give you the correct miles per hour. So I don't know how many miles I have. I have over 300. I know that for sure, and I've been riding it for almost 2 months, almost every day. So that's the RadMini. Now let me go and talk about the RadRover. I don't ride this as much because I'm often out all the time with the RadMini, because I put it in my car and then I do my thing and then I ride the RadMini and then that's it. But however, where I do use this is when I'm riding from home, right? So I leave the front door and I come out, and I'm not going to ride the RadMini per se, because usually this is something I put in my car and then go somewhere and then pull out. This is for my riding when I want to go somewhere from my house. So from my house to Herman Park, from my house to Memorial Park. Eventually I'm going to go and do a full circle, go to from my house to Herman Park, all the way around to Discovery. Maybe, I don't know if I'll go over to University of Houston or some other areas out there, but I'll go to Discovery Green, downtown, then Memorial, and then come back down home. So that's what I use the RadRover for. And miles, as far as miles, not time, I have probably just as much or even more miles on the RadRover than I do on the RadMini. RadMini, I just ride 10, 15 miles. RadRover, although I probably can use the RadMini to ride 50 miles, but the RadRover I prefer to ride longer distance, 25, 15, 14 miles round trip, 50-mile round trip. The next trip I'm planning is actually a 60-mile round trip. So of course I take 2 batteries with me, and I just like it a lot better. It rides a lot smoother. That's just my opinion. The power seems to be smoother as well when I like, for example, when I push on the throttle, it doesn't just pull away and jerk me. It just slowly gets into it and starts going, and then picks up the speed. So that's the difference. But I do feel, and I haven't had a chance to do any speed app on this yet, because again I don't ride it as often, but when I do ride it, I will do a speed app. I think it's possible for this thing to go 30 miles an hour. Again, I've set this at a 14-inch wheelbase in the settings. You take 14, and it's probably the wheels themselves is probably I actually measured it. I think they're 28.5 inches if you include the outside diameter of the tires. So if I set it to 14-inch, whatever it is, times that by 2. So if I'm going 14 miles an hour, theoretically I should be going 28 miles. If I'm going 15, I should be going 30 miles. So I do think it's possible for this thing to go very fast. The larger wheels help because I can ride over things easier. It's higher from the ground, so you know, good for off trail, no trail, whatever. I don't, like I said, I don't ride it often, but when I do ride it, it is for longer distance. So I got more miles. I really think I got more miles on this. So what are the things that I like on it? I love the suspension. Soft, really soft. Even though it's a coil, I put it on the lowest setting. That's it. That's all I leave it on. You know, I don't do any quote-unquote mountain biking. I don't think you could take any of these bikes on a, well, you can take any of these bikes on a mountain bike trail. It's just that it's heavy. You're not going to do any crazy jumps. Bunny hopping is kind of difficult. You can do it. I've tried it. You can do it. It's just that when you're riding up, kind of like a mountain bike trail, you know, all of a sudden it just goes up to a steep incline. The throttle doesn't quite. The throttle can help you, but it's so heavy. These bikes, they're like 60 pounds. A regular mountain bike is like, what, 30? So it's just difficult, but you can do it. You can do it. What I really like with these is just going not on a mountain bike trail, but where there is no trail, low grass area or low brush area, and or even a dirt road area where probably people don't want a mountain bike on or trail on. So you can go on those areas. I haven't tried snow. You can try sand, but if it's loose sand, it probably won't work. You need to be compact sand. Anyways, so the fork I like. I like it for on-road and off-road. I just put it on the lowest setting and that's it, I'm done. I just leave it. The other thing I like about it is the wheel size. Although it's 26 inch, because of the fat tires, they're almost 29 inches. So you're getting a 29 inch, and if you feel like you're riding, it almost feels like a dirt bike or an enduro bike, motorcycle bike. It almost feels like it. I use the throttle quite a bit. When I go off-roading, if you've seen any of my videos, I go off-roading. I use 2 lights on these because if I'm gonna go out at night, it's gonna be with this bike. I have a light here. I have a light here, but that's just for rainy day and foggy days. That's why I have 1 light here. I have 2 lights here, and then this is my fanny pack hack. I have actually I have 2 battery banks plus the 2 battery banks for the light, and plus I take my extra battery bank for the phone to recharge while I'm doing video. So this fanny pack here is very useful. I liked it so much, I also took one of my newer fanny packs and put it onto the RadMini, and it protects the battery from getting wet, and all my other batteries from getting wet, and whatever else I want to put in there. I like the handlebar, the way the handlebar is upright, and I don't have an issue with the handlebars being like this. I actually kind of like it because it's more of a upright position, and you're sitting up versus being hunched down. You know, because you don't need to be hunched down, and when I go off trail, I prefer to stand up on the pedals, and having the handlebar higher, it's kind of nice, so I don't have to kind of lean over. I'm more standing up and controlling the bike. That's what I like about it. So the change of the handlebars is nice, and overall, very powerful bike in my opinion. If you've seen where I've been riding, not that anybody else couldn't do it, but it would exhaust people. You know, it would exhaust people. Like to do a 50 round trip. I've done a 50 mile round trip, and then when I got to Memorial Park, I also rode the mountain bike trails. Now, most people take their bikes, right? Most people take their bikes and they'll put it into their truck or into a bike rack in their car or whatever, and then ride to a park to go on a mountain bike trail, and then put the bike back into their car and their truck and then go home. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in a bike that can take me from my house, this location, to where I want to go, and let me ride there. Okay, I got to ride there, and bring me back home. This does it. The electric bike definitely helps me do that. And so it can do long distance rides. I do take 2 batteries. If I really want to just ride, I probably still need 2 batteries, but I can make the battery last longer. And by going on Pedal Assist 1, even Pedal Assist 1 helps tremendously. It just that 30-50 watt of power helps tremendously. So long rides, I prefer the RadRover. It's sturdy. Nothing's happened with this bike. Nothing. No issue whatsoever. I added more accessories to it. Eventually, I would like to get a rack in the back here. Speaking of accessories, fenders. In my opinion, I got fenders. All right, I got fenders. I got fenders on both. I highly recommend fenders. I just highly recommend them. Unless you don't mind getting wet when you ride in the rain or in wet areas. It just keeps the bike cleaner. And it makes the ride more fun, and it looks cool. I think it looks cool. So overall, love the bike. Enjoy it immensely. People ask me often, what's a better bike, the RadMini or RadRover? Man, between both of them, they're both great bikes. I just use them for different purposes, different reason. When I want to ride from my house to somewhere and come back again without using a car, the RadRover. And when I off-road at night, the RadRover. When I leave the house and I bike from the house, the RadRover. When I go somewhere and I find an opportunity to find a bike trail or something, the RadMini, because I could take a truck. I have a truck. I can take this, put it in the back of my truck, but it's an open truck. Even if I got a rack, it's an open rack. That's the kind of issue I have. Like, the bike is exposed when you take it in your truck or put it on a rack. And you know, I have to admit, when I ride out with this bike, people look at it. And you know, it's kind of weird because, you know, I've never had anybody look at a bike the way they look at this bike. I mean, people just stop by and look at this bike. People stop and ask me, what kind of bike is this? And it's almost borderline to, are they looking at my bike because they want to steal it, or are they looking at my bike because it looks very interesting? Either way, it's just it's concerning for me. You know, like, I lock the bike up, right? I use this lock. I put it around the front of the rim, and usually I leave the battery. I lock the battery, and I put the bike and I lock it right here over the battery, so it looks like it's locked. And when I walk away, man, like, already people like are walking up to the bike and looking at it, and you know, it's a weird feeling because you don't know, are they looking at it because it looks interesting? I know it is. Or are they looking at it because they're thinking about stealing it? You know, I mean, this stuff goes in your mind. So that's the thing that I don't like about the RadRover. I personally would not put this on a bike rack and ride it around, or put it in the back of my truck, unless I was doing what everybody else does, put it in their truck, then ride the bike, then after finish riding the bike, put it back in the truck and go home. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to ride the bike as a transportation to go somewhere and come back. That's why I like the RadMini in that particular case. The RadMini I could put into my car and no one knows. Nobody knows. Right? They don't stop and look at my car or look in the window of my car. You know, people don't typically do that. So that's why I like using the RadMini. Gets me around places. I drive to places, unfold it out of the car where it's concealed and covered. You know, it's in a secure place. Like, I guess it's more secure than being in the open. Inside of a car, it would be more secure, in my opinion. You could have an alarm and all this other stuff. So, and then if people do break in your car, it's a, you know, out here in Texas, you can shoot them. But in any case, so those are the differences. You know, if I had to choose, I mean, it's hard to choose, but they're different. They're made for different purposes. I take this from my house and ride. I take this for mobility purposes, right? And I take it with me when I go somewhere in my car. Usually dropping off my kids somewhere or doing favors for my wife, for her friends or something. So I find an opportunity to find a different trail, different bike trail or different area to ride the bike. So, you know, that's where this comes in. But as far as I'm concerned, love the bike. Love the bike. Anyways, what don't I like about the bike? Same thing, the battery. The battery, in my opinion, is not that great. Well, the way it's positioned is not that great because I've taken it and I've dinged my hand on it, especially my little pinky one time, just and it hurts. Like I said, I wish they had some kind of like little lever so it can just push up on it and give it a little leverage so you can just, so it can be pushed, and that way you could just easily take it out. That's something maybe in the future they can work on. Other than that, I think overall it's a well thought out bike. It's well engineered. It's well, you know, it's been well designed. Customer service, awesome. I'm waiting for the rear rack. Supposedly it's coming around this month. It's April, so it's going to be coming out. I am going to get a rear rack and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a basket on it and put my backpack in it, and as I ride, so my body weight doesn't, I can feel lighter. Net weight's the same, but you know, when you sit on this for add an extra 20 pounds and you're sitting on this, it hurts your butt. But overall, yeah, I'm happy. I'm very, very happy. I like both the bikes. Both the bikes I enjoy immensely. So hopefully this helps you. If I had to do it again, I would buy both of them. And the advantage of buying two bikes, two different bikes that's similar, is that the battery, first of all, this battery and that battery right there are compatible. So I got two batteries, I got two chargers. The motor, I should be able to swap out the motor. The motor is the same on that, although the gears, and I think the gear is different. But I can swap the motor if one goes down for the other. So there's some compatibility between the seat. This seat will probably work on the RadMini as well as the RadRover, so I can swap out the seats. The handle, the grips on the handlebar are probably the same. Okay, the same. So there's some things that I can easily just swap and use, and they're probably very interchangeable. Some things are not. Okay, some things are obviously are not. This is a totally different bike versus this bike here. Looks like the brake calipers are the same front and back, so I could probably use the brake calipers. So there's some advantages of getting ordering two bikes at once, and plus I got the promotional $200 off for ordering quote unquote pre-ordering. Although I got the RadMini, the salesman I talked to, I got the RadMini. It was in stock. I mean the RadRover. It was in stock, so I paid full price for this and got $200 off for this. Works the same. Doesn't matter. So yeah, I can't say enough. I immensely enjoy these bikes, and no one's paying me. When I buy something, I buy it with my own money, and when I make a video about it, is because the video is a part of my life. Right? This channel is about me. It's not about RadRover or Harbor Freight or anything about anybody else. It's about me and my life and the things that I do in my life. And that's why I make a video. That's my channel. Okay, it's not a crypto channel. It's not anything. I mean, the channel is about me, and you're seeing everything through my eyes now, even more with the gimbal, the way I have it set up. And so, anyways, RadRover, I'd highly recommend it. RadMini, highly recommend it. If you can buy both, buy both. You know, there's some electric bikes that cost between, if you paid retail, let's say $3,000, $1,500 for this, and $1,500 for that, it wouldn't matter. I mean, there's bikes that are costing $3,000, and you get one bike. Anyways, I'm going to conclude this episode, so feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment, or even do a video response. Until next time, everyone, stay tuned. Bye.